From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And thanks for joining us here on the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey, and Todd Clausen is standing by from home this midday with a check of our forecast. Todd, has a bit of a drizzly start to our day. What can folks expect as they head out for their lunch hour?
You know, as you walk out this lunch hour, it's still kind of damp out there, and we have a solid overcast sky. And there's a little bit of drizzle here and there, but it's not all too bad at this noon hour. Here's a live look outside, as you can see from downtown to the north. And you can see the clouds firmly in place. And this is going to be the view, unfortunately, throughout much of the afternoon hours. And then once we get into the evening hours, that's when we're going to bring some heavier rain showers back into the equation. Radar is quiet. That's the good news. We'll throw the clouds on for you, and you can see firmly entrenched across central Indiana. We'll expand out a little bit further, and you can see that there's another wave of rain down near St. Louis, and this is going to start to make its way towards central Indiana later on this evening, bringing back the steady rain, and it could be potentially heavy in spots. We're in the 40s and 50s right now. Our high today is not going to occur until shortly before midnight because some warmer air will continue to work in. So once we get to 6 o'clock, we'll introduce some scattered showers, and then more of a rain arrives across parts of Indiana as we get into the 8 o'clock hour, and that will continue all the way through the night. And there could be some hefty rainfall totals across parts of the area. We'll detail that for you coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. New this midday, another troubling day of COVID-19 numbers from the state health department. 48 additional deaths related to COVID-19 reported by the department just moments ago. That is the highest number of newly reported deaths in one day since May. Indiana also saw more than 1,500 new cases of the coronavirus once again. This is the 14th consecutive day the state has been over the 1,000 case mark. And the positive test rate is also going up today. It's now standing at 12.4% for unique individuals. New this midday, the Boone County Health Department says 4 long-term care residents have died following COVID-19 outbreak at a nursing home. The health department says that the outbreak happened at the Signature Healthcare at Parkwood in Lebanon. In addition to the deaths, the department says more than 3 dozen residents and employees there are sick. A strike team from the Indiana State Department of Health has been notified. That team is working with Parkwood to provide support, testing, and other mitigation efforts. Also new today, 2 branches of the Indianapolis Public Library are closed. The library says an employee who works at both the East Washington and Southport branches was exposed to a family member with COVID-19. Both of those library branches are closed all day today for deep cleaning. They are tentatively scheduled to reopen tomorrow. The library says if you were inside either branch this past Saturday through Monday, you should self-monitor yourself for possible symptoms. Well, there have been a number of changes to policing in Indianapolis following those demonstrations held here over the summer. The Marion County prosecutor will be addressing the use of force in a virtual event that you can attend for free. Our own Rafael Sanchez sat down with the prosecutor to find out what you'll learn during that presentation.
What is that you want people to take away from this? They have 90 minutes with this panel of speakers. What will I get out of it if I sit through this virtual presentation?
Well, I think so far, people maybe just have learned about use of force through sound bites, and they've heard a lot of terms, and I want to provide a little bit more background and nuance to the discussion. I think a lot of people have heard the term of qualified immunity in different aspects of IMPD training. And I think it's very important that we provide context to those terms so people better understand what the legal standard is.
Considering how emotional and raw this issue, the issue of use of force, remains in our county and across the country, do you foresee doing more of these sessions, particularly on this issue?
I think the thing that's so encouraging to me is we've heard from the community, and they really want to learn more about the topic of use of force and things that maybe we can do to better educate the community about what these issues are and some of the complexities that exist. So they better understand the challenges that law enforcement faces, that the prosecutor's office faces, and then also hopefully tell the community what's going on so they better understand their rights. And also hopefully we'll provide some guide rails to help those interactions between law enforcement and the community moving forward.
Ryan Mears, Marion County Prosecutor, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Rafael, thank you. Well, this conversation is part of the 10th Annual Community Justice Academy. The talk on use of force is tomorrow from 5 until 6:30 p.m. It is free and it will be held over Zoom. The deadline to register is 5 p.m. this evening, and we have all the details inside this story. Just go to WRTV.com. Democracy 2020 now. We are just 2 weeks away from Election Day, and Hoosiers continue to stand in long lines to cast their ballots early. But voters in Indianapolis are getting special treat as they wait outside. Luger Plaza outside the City County building has become a stage for dozens of artists who haven't been able to perform in months because of this pandemic. The performers are hosting free live shows to an audience of early voters over the next 2 weeks. It's the first paying gig that many of the singers, musicians, and bands have had in months.
The venues that we normally sing at, like the Jazz Kitchen, the Chatterbox, we don't know when they're going to open. We don't know when we're going to have the opportunity to do that. So the fact that there are other ways for us to be able to do it is going to be fantastic.
Well, Ingram there says that voters have told her that the music makes the long line not so bad. The Indianapolis Cultural Trail has a full lineup of performers for voters standing in line all the way up to Election Day. Love that. Well, the candidates for governor will hold the first of 2 debates tonight. The debate will look a little different from the past debates because of this pandemic. The Indiana Debate Commission says Governor Eric Holcomb, Democratic challenger Woody Myers, and the Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater will each be in separate studios as a COVID-19 precaution. You can watch that 1-hour debate at 7 o'clock tonight. It's here on WRTV.com, the WRTV Facebook page. You can also watch it on the WRTV mobile app or on your favorite streaming service such as Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and also Apple TV. And a reminder, we have everything you need to know about the election at our website, WRTV.com. We go one-on-one with the candidates who will appear on your ballot. Plus, we have the dates and deadlines you need to know to make sure your vote counts. And it's all at WRTV.com/election 2020. Well, they're worried about their loved ones who are behind bars. Next, the concerns from a mother of an inmate after 2 violent incidents happening less than a week apart. Todd.
And Lauren, as we go throughout the afternoon hours, the solid overcast sky is going to give way to some rain showers as well as we get into the evening. Once the rain arrives, once again, some of it could be heavy into the overnight hours. We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast when the news at noon continues right here on WRTV.
Well, twice in 1 week, inmates were killed inside the Marion County Jail, and so investigators tell us that both deaths were at the hands of other inmates. Our own Megan Sanctorum has been working to learn more about these cases, why they're happening, and what's being done to protect other inmates.
October 10th, 2 different inmates lost their life while behind bars here at the Marion County Jail.
Things have gotten really bad.
This mother of a current inmate asked not to be identified, saying she fears for her son's safety, but she shared what he claims is going on inside.
Cell doors aren't being checked, routine checks aren't being made, rounds aren't being made by the guards to ensure safety.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office declined an interview today, saying there is still an active investigation underway for both deaths. A statement from them said in part, though it is a fact that sheriff's deputies and detention deputies are underpaid, overworked, and the MCSO is understaffed, we have not concluded that this is the cause for either of the deaths at this time. Here's what we do know about them, though. The first death happened October 10th. An inmate accused of child molestation is said to have been assaulted by another inmate. He was taken to the hospital and later died. It's unclear where in the jail the assault took place. The second death happening October 17th. Officials say a man being held on intimidation charges was stabbed to death by another inmate with an improvised weapon. A spokesperson for the sheriff's office tells us the victim had been using racially charged language toward fellow inmates and had been assigned to a single cell.
Anyone that has a loved one in there has to be feeling the same way. You just don't know what to do. You don't know how to help them or how to get this fixed. It's not our place to judge them. That's why they're in there to go to court. The jail needs to get this fixed. They need to get it fixed now before someone else gets killed.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Megan, thank you. We'll continue to work to get answers about how these deaths could have happened and what's being done to protect other inmates. We also have the full statement from the sheriff's office on our website. You can view it at WRTV.com. Well, he was on the front lines of fighting wildfires, but then he found himself battling something else on social media. Next, how this firefighter found fame and how he's now using that fame to help others. Let's take a live look outside here, our windows and our tower camera. This is looking to the west in Indianapolis with a gloomy day. And Todd Clausen will have a look at our forecast for the rest of the week coming up here on the News at Noon. Stick around. Welcome back. Well, this will be a very different ride to school for some students in Bartholomew County. Today, the Bartholomew Consolidated School District received an electric school bus from Bluebird Bus Company. It's one of the first in the state, and it's the first with the vehicle-to-grid technology that helps return any unused electricity to help power companies manage the supply. The bus drivers tell us that there's only one difference they notice immediately.
The biggest difference is the noise. You don't hear anything. I can actually hear the children's conversations. And, it's real smooth. It rides real smooth.
Well, the bus was paid for by a grant that came from Indiana's settlement with Volkswagen over the company's cheating on the emission standards for its cars. Pretty interesting. Well, for several states out west, the 2020 wildfire season has been the worst on record. So one firefighter in Hawaii is going viral on social media for fighting both fires and misinformation about what's causing them. Scripps reporter Jackie Kostek has his story.
There are a lot of fires going on right now in our country. Was it planned? Here's something so crazy that it might be true. So if you haven't been watching.
On the same day, firefighter Michael Clark downloaded the social media app TikTok. He went viral for posting a response to what he calls a crazy and bizarre video laying out a wildfire conspiracy theory.
I woke up to, thousands and thousands of views and likes.
When it comes to wildfires, Clark knows what he's talking about. A former Marine, he's worked as a wildland firefighter for the past 3 years.
I absolutely love this job, and anything I can do with my 2 seconds of fame to try and help bring awareness to something good. That's what I'm going to try and do.
And he's doing it, creating a 2021 calendar that will feature 12 smoking hot firefighters, including him, of course. He says he already has 6 firefighters in the mix and is still accepting submissions. All of the proceeds will go to the Eric Marsh Foundation, which supports families of fallen wildland firefighters.
A majority of them are seasonal firefighters, which means they only fight fire in the summer, and that doesn't, they're not included in the benefits of a full-time firefighter, which unfortunately is, when they die, their families have this huge burden.
Clark is trying to ease the burden for families with a good old-fashioned hot firefighter fundraising campaign. But the way he's building momentum, the modern tactic of posting thirst traps on social media.
Well, that was Jackie Kostek with that report, and we don't have any excuse to not get in shape now. Check out this video of McKenna Myler. It's going viral. The 28-year-old from California kept running during her pregnancy. Now, just 1 week before her due date, she ran a mile in under 6 minutes. McKenna says that her husband bet her $100 that she wouldn't break 8 minutes for the mile since she was 9 months pregnant. Well, she did it in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Now, to give you some perspective, Runner's World magazine says that's about half the average running pace for a woman who is not pregnant. So, Todd, when I was pregnant, I could barely walk myself down from my desk into the studio. I was so swollen. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, just running itself is impressive. Yeah.
Look at that. 5 minutes, 25 seconds.
Wow.
Unbelievable. All right, outside, if you're heading out running, it's not terrible here this afternoon. It's a little on the cool side, and there's a little bit of a damp feel, but you don't have to worry about any rain for right now. Once we get closer to sunset, though, you will have to be concerned about the potential of some rain moving into your neighborhood. Storm team radar is completely quiet. We'll throw on the clouds, and you can see the clouds firmly in place across the area, but you really need to expand out to get the big picture and see what's happening. There's some snow moving into Minneapolis and parts of the Dakotas. You don't have to worry about that, but there is some rain here down across parts of St. Louis, and that's what's going to be heading in our direction as we get into the course of the next couple hours and then eventually into the overnight hours. So let me walk you through it on TrueCast hour by hour. By 4 o'clock, some of those showers and storms are approaching the Sullivan area, Terre Haute as well. Then they'll expand into the area by 6 o'clock. And you notice there's a few heavier downpours mixed in with this. And by 9:30, we're dealing with rain that's a little more wide. widespread. And then eventually overnight tonight, everybody gets into the heavier rain. So not everybody gets into the rain right away. As for some of you, it takes a little bit longer, but eventually most of us get there. And then eventually by 8 a.m., it's starting to make its way out of the area. So the later you can do your morning commute on Wednesday, the better off you'll be as far as any rain falling from the sky. And by tomorrow afternoon, it is going to be dry across the area. But as far as the rainfall potential goes, and this again is on top of what we have seen so far the past couple days, it's just a couple 107-inch in Lafayette and Indianapolis by 9 p.m. tonight. A little bit more down to Bloomington and Bedford. But watch what happens when I advance this into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning's commute. Some areas could see about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Now, it's a pretty thin band of those really high, impressive rainfall totals. On either side of that band, it falls off pretty quickly to a tenth to maybe a half an inch of rain. But where that band sets up, there could be the potential for some localized flooding now that the ground's more saturated, and especially on some side streets where the storm drains are clogged right now by leaves and pine needles and such because of the fall season. Cloudy right now. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s. We'll climb here this afternoon. It's a warm front that's heading our way. So our actual high tonight is probably not going to be until right around midnight. And then overnight tonight, the temperatures actually hold pretty steady, if not go up a couple degrees. And then we'll continue to warm throughout the day tomorrow once those showers end by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And tomorrow turns into a mild day with a high temperature of 70 degrees. And then going forward in the forecast, Thursday is terrific. 80 degrees, lots of sunshine. Friday still mild at 76, but a cold front will come through Friday with a round of showers and storms, and that'll cool us off heading into the weekend. But the weekend does look dry, Lauren. But again, if you do have plans after sunset tonight and into the early morning hours tonight, make sure you have that umbrella handy as we all eventually get into another round of pretty heavy rainfall across the area.
All right, Todd, thank you. And when we come back here, it's Tuesday, so it means it's time for our Pet of the Week. And you don't need a little red Corvette to take this prince home. We'll introduce you to this sweet boy. And we'll have another story and your forecast. So that's all coming up here on the News at Noon. Stick around. Welcome back. He never wanted to be your weekend pet. He only wants to be your forever friend. Prince, that's our Pet of the Week. He's around 4 years old and he arrived at Indy Humane very emaciated and dehydrated. However, as you can see, he's been nursed back to health through medical care. Lots of love and snuggles. Prince needs a home where he'll get lots of love and be allowed on laps and furniture. He's also would be pairing well with an easygoing dog. You can take home Prince for an adoption fee of just $87.50. And if you'd like to set up a time to meet Prince, all you have to do is go to indyhumane.org. So we've shown you a lot of how people are voting here in central Indiana, and you may not be a fan of waiting in those long lines. Well, a woman from Houston has become a social media star this week for her advice on how to prepare for those long lines so that your voice can be heard.
I got my grown folks hair on. I got my savage clothes on. I'm ready for this damn heat. And I'm ready for these people. Because I'm going to vote. And ain't going to stop me. Not this sun, not this heat. And y'all need to go on and get y'all jush and get y'all vote on.
TikTok user Queen BV59 there went on to show everyone her chair, the snacks she brought for her long wait, her handheld fan to fend off that Texas heat. By the way, Todd, get your jush means to live your best life. So she says we all need to get our jush and vote. I may be taking that advice when I go vote this week, because you said the weather's going to be nice Wednesday, Thursday. I have to wait in line.
Yeah, I like her setup there. She got the cooler with the cup holder and everything right there, and all she needs in case there's some lines. All right, outside right now it's cloudy, and that's the way it stays through about at least 6 o'clock. Once we get towards sunset and then beyond, rain moves back in. Could be heavy at times overnight tonight. Tomorrow the rain ends by 8, 9 o'clock, and then mostly cloudy, 71. Thursday, a great day, sunshine, 80, and then cooler weather for the weekend with partly cloudy skies. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Come back here for the news at 5. Have a great afternoon.